Hey, it's Kara from Enemy in the Sky again. So this is part 2 of how the song Fun was made. Fun is our new single that just came out recently and is on Spotify and Tidal and all of the places. So I made a video talking about how I had the idea for the lyrics to the song, and now I'm going to talk a little bit about how I wrote the music. So I use Ableton to write all the music and the piano, obviously. And so I had been working with this chord progression on the piano, which is usually how I start things out. And then once I have, a bit of an idea of a chord progression for a chorus or a verse or whatever, then I come down here to my basement and I start working with it in the computer. So in the case of this song, the first part that I wrote was the chorus, and I just wrote that chord progression, and I had this synth line going at the same time, so it sounds like... So this like... just basically an arpeggio. It's not fancy or anything, but this is the same sound that we used in No One Will Ever Know, and it's like a stock Ableton sound that for some reason I really like. It's actually just called Basic Electronic something. Yeah, so it's just this basic electronic sound, but I actually think it's really good. So anyway, I wrote this arpeggio part to go over this chord progression that I really liked, and it just sat in the computer. I start a lot of songs and then don't finish them for whatever reason, whatever, something else better comes along, or I find lyrics that are perfect for some chord progression, whatever. So I hadn't figured out any lyrics that I liked for this, and so it was just sitting in the computer unfinished. And then once I decided that I had this lyric that I wanted to pair with something, I don't even know how I thought of it. Sometimes I'll just go back through all of the partial songs that I've written, and I will just listen to them with, whatever lyric in mind or whatever chorus in mind that I'm working on. So it might have been something like that. But I just kind of found that, this, you say it's fun, but who is this fun for? It would go with that chord progression. And so from there, I started writing the verse, and the verse has a lot of motion actually in the bass line. I will play the bass line here. Obviously, this is not the sound that we used in the real thing. This was before I got Omnisphere and could actually use really good sounds. But the point is, the bass has a lot of movement in it. And so when I was writing the melody, I was having a lot of problems thinking of a good melody for the verse, which is very typical for me. Usually I write the chorus and I'm like, this is catchy, whatever. And I go to write the verse and I'm just like, I have no idea what to do. So I kind of wrote the verse around the root note, and I thought it worked really well, just kind of going up or down a couple of notes and then coming back to the root, because the bass line was so varied. So you sing a lot of the same notes, but they all appear in different context, and so that gave it a little bit of motion and made it more interesting, even though it's a really simple melody. And then of course I put some pads on it. I actually had this organ sound, and I, again, this is before I got Omnisphere, and so it was not the perfect organ sound. But this is what you hear in the intro of the song, and actually what we did when we recorded it for the album is we used a Farfisa, that Farfisa that is right over there. And then we kind of blended it with the electronic elements. And then I always put drums in the demos that I make, but they're embarrassing and I really don't want to show them to you because John and Eric are both drummers, and so I feel like having two other drummers in this band, like I usually don't, I give a little idea of what I think the feel of the drums should be like, but they're not good. And I'll usually just make like one drum loop and put it under the whole song, or like, change it if it's gonna go to halftime or something like that. But I know that they're gonna make like a drum part that's 1,000 times better than what I would ever do, and so I don't usually spend very much time on the drums. And then I do a scratch vocal track, which is, usually somewhat embarrassing actually, because it's not always.
I'd run when you'd say chase me. It started out just how you'd think. I'd grown attached to the feeling, saw a future. I am so naive. I thought I was better. You made me think we could be together with the way you'd hold my gaze and you'd touch my face and say we're having fun.
Here's my bad drums.
Then you leave and I'm crying on the floor. You say it's fun, but who is this fun for?
And then John added that really fun, catchy, little sparkly synth part that comes after the first chorus. So that is how the music for Fun was made. I just make a little demo, and then John brings the music to life and adds all the good drums and dynamics and little extra sparkly synth parts. And then we meet and we record vocals in the studio for real, and then he makes my voice sound a lot better than it does in real life. and then we have a song. So go and check out Fun. It is available on all of the streaming services, and let us know what you think. Hope you like it.